Hello, friends. My name's host Eric. I'm the Talking with Famous People. Only 98 more subscribers in the last 28 days. Well, that's not a good sign. Things aren't going well here at Talking with Famous People from a monetary standpoint, but they're going well from an excitement standpoint, and that's what really matters. Uh, because without excitement, who cares about money? And with enough excitement, money will somehow appear. I don't know. So, today I want to talk about goals. It's a topic I don't think I've ever talked about before, really, because I don't like goals. I don't like setting goals. I don't like trying to attain goals. Goals are long term things for me. It's like, what do you mean a goal for do something 2 months down the road? That's forever from now. I can't have that goal. You may have to do something every day consistently for 2 months to accomplish a goal. I'll never achieve that. That's for sure. I mean, it's just impossible. But it doesn't mean I won't sometimes do things every day for a couple of months, provided it's what I feel like doing. So it's, the whole point of a goal, though, is to do something you don't feel like doing. Is to say, I want to achieve this X, and it's not naturally occurring. I have to take some sort of action. It doesn't necessarily mean you don't want to do it. It just means it's not naturally occurring, and it's going to require individual actions between now and then that probably some of those individual actions are going to be uncomfortable or at least unfamiliar because it's different than the status quo. So, for me, the word goal suggests TE, which I do not like. I mean, I like it for certain things, but I don't like it as a general value, and I certainly don't like it running the show for months at a time in that fashion. Of course, it's because TE is about making a specific protocol. TE is about making a specific protocol, and NE is about, well, what about the other possible protocols? So, obviously, I'm going to have a bit of a problem with TE, and I do. And and yet, we often have to. We sometimes have to understand how to do things in order to do them. Not always. Not always by a long shot. Most of the things I do, I have no idea what I'm doing while I'm doing it. It just sort of happens. Shit happens, and then I make it into a story that sounds like a logical reason for things. So, when faced with the idea that maybe I should have some goals or aspirational matters, it occurs to me that they fall into a few categories. Because I definitely have aspirations. I may not have goals, but I have aspirations. I've got desired outcomes. I've got less desired outcomes. So, on that ground, I have a framework of goals in some sense, and I can talk a little bit about what I would like to become rather than what I am now or what I was before. That implies some sort of goals as well. And it's just the word goal maybe that I have a problem with, but not the actual thing itself, given the fact that I do in fact have aspirations. So they fall into the following categories. I have goals regarding processes. So I'd like to continue getting better at music. I'd like to continue getting better at maybe some specific part of it, etc. Those kind of goals. I've got goals that are specific things, like I want to implement Plan Z. It's a little bit different than continue getting better at something, which is open-ended and can take lots of different formats. I'd like to implement Plan Z would be like the marketplace. I'd like to make that happen, which means do all the TE steps. But of course, what's wrong with Eric? Eric's a little bit retarded when it comes to that stuff. So, what other kind of goals do I have? Well, I've got personal development goals, which are also sort of process goals, but they've got more of a specific attainment. So, let's focus on those first. those are the easiest to talk about because they're the ones we talk about most around here and most conducive to analysis, I suppose, given our preferred framings. And let's go forward now to explain what those look like. For me, my personal development goals are, well, I guess they're linked to situational arrangements as well. I know that I want to attain the right woman, and that's not really personal development. That's more like, but it is. It's life sculpting. It's like I want my life to be what I want it to be, not what it is. If what it is not what I want it to be, and what I want it to be is, well, right now, I mean, I want a woman, but I don't want any woman. I want the right woman. I want the woman that fits best into my preferred framework. And so that means not only if I'm going to find that woman, am I going to have to successfully woo and pursue her? It additionally means that I'm going to have to make sure the environment is conducive to retaining her, and to make sure as well that I am able to make the determination as to which individual is the one I have to put the full court pressure on or whatever, and make sure that shit happens. You know, it's like, if I'm gonna do that, then I have to work on myself to make sure that the achieved outcome happens naturally. If I want to get, let's say I wanted in my life an ENFP woman. That'd be a little bit crazy around here, a little bit too much ENE. Taylor would probably suggest that would be ill-advised, but let's say that's what I wanted. So I got an ENFP around here, and I know I'm going to have to, in that context, deal with the fact that there's a judging function of FI, and I've got a judging function of TI. But I no longer see FI as a big problem like I used to see it as, because I understand that I'm banging my head against the wall to try to hold it accountable under the rules of logic. It's not that. And so I think I'd be well equipped to deal with that introverted feeler. And I know ENFPs aren't very fighty. I don't want to fight with people who aren't fighty at all. I want to fight with fight-oriented types, not with not fight-oriented types. So I think in my current capacity, as somebody who understands the limitations of his own perspectives better than I have in the past, meaning I don't, unless I'm feeling unfair and mean or something, which I rarely do, I don't see any point in bludgeoning about a feeler for their lack of logical explanation for the thing. I would just simply say, how can we make you feel differently about this? I just sort of bypass the thinking aspect of it. As for a little bit of, I mean, you got to be TE in that kind of a circumstance. So that would be an example, though, of me having personal development goals. Is a goal to take more of a platinum rule focus in general, except a Mythril Rule. The Mythril Rule being, do unto others as they would have you do unto them if they were to honestly reveal to you how best to have them do as you want them to do, and have them do as you want them to do, and have that be consistent with them experiencing you saying you should do as you want to do, and it being the same as the thing you want them to do. So in other words, to make basically to make consensus of will, not just of outcome. It's insufficient and not a good idea to get your way by being right. If you're in a relationship with a feeler, I would imagine. And it's not something I would attempt to do. I would attempt to get my way by aligning the other individual's feelings to the desired outcome and or losing. Sometimes you just got to lose, right? Okay, well, you have your feelings about this, then that's good enough for me, and my bad. It seems weird to imagine oneself doing that, right? Like, you're in the wrong, Eric, because you made me feel bad. Oh, I'm sorry. I guess that means I'm in the wrong then. If it's my significant other, I think that would be a good policy to have. If I make my significant other feel bad, I must have done something wrong. I'm okay with that. I'd like to not make a significant other feel bad, right? So changing my perspective to be more results oriented and more neutral, more true neutral, would be a general personal development goal for me. I would have as a lesser goal, but still one that I have to acknowledge, would be I would like to see myself be more TE in matters of business, matters of the channel, and matters of my debate business, and all sorts of matters. I'd like to be more TE. So that's important and something I should attend to as well. I just would like to see, I like bird holocaust. I want to kill multiple birds with one stone, but I'd like those dead birds to start plucking themselves and selling themselves at market and bringing the money back for their dead carcasses to me. Would be nice. Okay, next thing. Next thing is what? Oh yeah. So there's the goals of process. Those ones are easy, and I don't really have to revisit them very much. The process is being continue to engage in optimization as a general rule. Get better at shit that matters. Stop doing shit that doesn't. And that's it. Really. And, continue to evolve your metaphysics to account for situationalism, which necessarily is going to trump rules. It's a standard-based world. We can't exist in a standard-based moral landscape with rules. They will only produce false results. And whatever general rule you have for how things ought to go, almost any, you're going to find some exceptions to it, and there's going to be other variables that need to be factored in. It's going to be complicated. So that's the reality about ethics, is it's complicated. Another thing I want to do is to be less to be a little less black and white, a little, about certain things. Unavoidably, one has to evolve as one encounters more and more complicated situations that seem to defy easy ethical answers. It's, you end up with these massive conditionality rules. Well, if this and that and this and the other thing, then that way. But you gotta know sometimes what's the right thing to do and what's not. So that's one of those things that's got to be done by the gut. Even something might seem like the right thing to do according to the rules, might be the wrong thing to do according to the gut, or vice versa. So something worth thinking about. Another rule I would have for myself, goal I have for myself this year is Well, I mean, I want to optimize. I want to optimize all things. That's my number one goal. I want to optimize all things. I want to optimize myself. I want to optimize my environment. I want to optimize my situation. I want to optimize my outcomes. I want to optimize. I want to be optimal Eric. The optimized optimal man for the optimal year of 2017 will be fully optimized in his Eric's optimization, optimal optimization protocols. That's what I want to be. I want to be optimal. What does that require? Everything to be as I will it to be. Everything as I will it to be. And I guess then my number one goal is to always will good things. Don't will evil. This is critical, of course. I don't will evil. And I have to trust that I know what I'm willing. And let my will be done. That's actualization. In a nutshell. Let my will be done. If you're saying those sentences too, if you're saying the sentence, let my will be done, and you are an ENTP, you're moving towards actualization. If you also say, my will is informed foremost by my incompleteness. But my knowledge of that is sufficient to constrain my will to the extent that it errs on the side of caution. And remember too that you always got to do something. You can't do nothing. Some choices are required. Choice making is what it means to live. Otherwise, you're a Buddhist. You're just wasting your life. Buddhist. I love talking shit about Buddhists. Fucking Buddhists. Nobody hates the Buddhists. You know who I fucking hate? Fucking Buddhists. They're awful. They're so lazy. It's like they're advocating don't do anything all day long. Just sit in one place. That is a cancer upon our society. I don't think that's what they're saying, Eric. Yeah, they are. They're saying be more SE, but just sit still. That's stupid on two accounts. That's not the topic of this video. Thanks for watching Talking with Famous People.